Hi, and welcome to surprisingly the second episode of this podcast. I know you may be hearing some sounds in the background, like my squeaky chair, or uh, it can happen that my cats will also be make themselves heard during the episode. I've got five of them at the moment, and some are really social, and they, you know, just all of a sudden they may decide, or one of them may decide, or several, or all of them, that it would be a great idea to come down here to my kitchen right now at this very second and want to get a pet or want some treats or anything. It's 10:30 in the morning currently at my place, so it's quite early to be recording anything, at least for me. Huh? Well, okay, that's quite funny, provided that this is the second episode. But here we are nonetheless, and we'll try to make something of it either way. It's Friday, Friday before Easter. I'm not celebrating Easter or any Christian holidays. Not anymore. I'm not. And the thing I wanted to start with today is a few words about the title of this podcast, because I didn't know what the title would be until now, second episode in, and as you already know and as you see, the title is Tales from a Desolate Planet, and I have chosen for the cover the photo was taken by the Voyager probe as it turned back and took a photo of the Earth from the distance of Saturn, and you can see only a pale blue dot and nothing more. And when you think of what Carl Sagan said about this photo, is okay. I'm going to paraphrase it. I didn't prepare myself. I don't have it. I don't have the citation before me. So yeah, when you look at this, it's just a single pale blue dot hovering in the vastness of space, and yet everything you know, everything you learned, every single person that ever existed has been somehow confounded this pale blue dot. I mean, I'm paraphrasing this and already interpreting as I see this picture, and I think you can already tell where I'm going with this, because my story is a story of a huge loneliness on various fields, so to speak. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my loneliness from the perspective of today. And as I said before in a previous episode, I am going to go back in time as I proceed with talking about myself. Just wanted to make it to stress this once again, that maybe someone will find similarities hearing the story, and maybe, just maybe, they will recognize and themselves in this, and in my experience, and maybe, just maybe, some of them will actually get inspired to get help or reach out to someone or just talk about their experiences with friends or family or whoever they feel comfortable with. So if you're listening to this and you're one of those people, I actually am honored that you've come here and that you're here listening to this, and that somehow you are a part of the story just by being here. And I did have many problems in my lifetime, and well, I'm still having a lot of problems with my loneliness and what it means to me to be lonely, and what it all boils down to. So a few words of what I am going through. Well, maybe not what I'm going through. How my life looks like. At the moment, I'm single. I'm still married. I'm getting divorced. I live alone. I have 3 cats, and currently I have 5 of them because my wife wanted to go on holidays, and she asked that, if I could, just take care of her 2 cats. Well, of course, I was happy to help because we had the whole 5 of them together, and when we split, we had to split the cats also. So I got 3, she got 2. I'm not going to talk about the divorce or our relationship, and I'm not going to go into any details. But yeah, suffice to say, I initiated the breakup in a horrible, worst imaginable way, and the most fucked up thing about life in general is when you make a mistake. Okay, it's your mistake, and you have to. You don't have to. It would be preferable if you owned up to your mistake and accepted the consequences of what you did, whatever they may be, and not run away from those consequences, which I have been doing all my life, and running away from telling the truth, running away from the consequences of my actions. But the fucked up thing is that it's not only the person making the mistake that lives with the consequences, because most of the mistakes you do also impact other people, and that's a very horrible thing to realize. Okay, maybe not to realize, because realizing this is somehow enlightening and may lead you to thinking about what you did and to rethinking your actions and doing your best not to hurt anyone else. But for the third time, the fucked up thing is that it's not only you who has to live with the consequences of your actions, but most commonly, other people have to live with the consequences of your mistakes too. So it's not only your mistake. Your mistake influences others. The thing that I did has a huge impact on the life of my wife. My mistakes, what I did wrong throughout our relationship has significantly impacted her life and everything which is her life. Okay, but enough of that. My mistakes when the bad things that I did when I was a kid, or when I was in my teens, or later on, any relationship that I had, my mistakes always impacted others. Okay, on the one hand, you may think that that's fairly logical, and that's how it is, and it's nothing new to you. But to me, okay, I think I knew this, but it was one of those moments when you got to realize what you did, and you come to realizing that I came to realizing that that's how the world works, and to me it was kind of enlightening, because the moment of realization that that my actions actually hurt other people too, not only me. Obviously, the other party is hurt and they're suffering because of something what I did. But on the other hand, I have to live with the consequences of my mistakes too. And provided who I am and how I am and how my mind works, there is a very good chance I will never forget the mistakes I did. I mean, okay, I know I will never forget the mistakes that I did, and I know I will never forget every single thing that I did wrong. Unfortunately, just as much as I will never forget anything wrong that happened to me, because well, that's how I function. I've all my life I've focused so much on hurt and on pain. It was kind of a leitmotif for my life. It's not like I was thinking, okay, my parents were so and so, and I got hurt, and things like that. No, I actively focused my thoughts on what they did, and I even hyper focused on who they are, how they wronged me, without thinking of the other way around, what I did to them. Also, because I've spent with living with them 18, 19 years. And later on, when I moved out, I also hurt them in many ways. So yeah, it's not like this is a one-way street. And this is let's say it's an interaction. So I received hurt and I gave hurt, but I focused only on what I received. I focused only on what I got from them, and I kept thinking that they don't deserve my attention, or they don't deserve anything from me, but I deserve everything from them. It even got to a point when quite recently I wanted to talk to them about all those things, and the conversation didn't go as I had hoped it would, but it went exactly as I predicted it would, with a complete wall of denial of the things that they did to me that made me who I am today, and added to the general sum of my problems. And they were completely in denial. They didn't accept anything. One of the things that I hyper focus on, and I think this is really important, is how people apologize to one another. My mom said, I'm sorry if we've hurt you that way. I don't know if you hear what I'm hearing, but what I'm hearing when what I get from an apology like this is, if we've hurt you this way, then we apologize. Meaning it's your fault, because there has to be this condition that if you feel hurt, then we apologize. But only then. It's not like you hear that you've done something wrong and you apologize for hurting someone, but you're apologizing if the other party was hurt. And what I take from it is that the apologizing party doesn't feel sorry, doesn't feel regret. They don't feel like they did something wrong. I don't know if you're getting the same thing. I don't know. I've talked to a few people about this kind of apology, and some people say, yeah, that's correct. You should. If you're apologizing, then you're apologizing for what you did, not if someone got hurt. Because, yeah, just like I said, if someone got hurt by me, then it's their fault, and it's their responsibility for me to actually apologize. But if I hurt someone, I apologize for hurting them, and I feel genuinely sorry for it. And some other people said that yeah, they generally do apologize, and they're really sincere. They apologize for doing something, and still they say if. So I don't know. There are some people who I know that don't feel sorry, and yet confronted with how they apologize, they don't accept this perspective. Just like my mom, she did not. I tried to explain this to her, that I don't know. I feel hurt, and you're apologizing, but not out of, being sorry for what you did, but for me feeling this way. Which kinda, to me, misses the general point of apologizing altogether, because they don't feel sorry. And I got the vibe that she couldn't handle it, and was in complete denial of what I was talking about. And yeah. So, and later on, when I was thinking about why I actually went there to confront them, are you hearing what I'm saying? I went to confront them. It's like I was going to battle or something. I was expecting a battle, a struggle, and even the way I talk about this indicates that I was like this. That I had this general attitude that it's not going to go well, that I have to prepare myself for a confrontation. And okay, side note, yet another one. I'm not good at confrontation. I always ran away from confrontation. Confrontation meant pain, meant something really difficult for me, and I hated confrontation. did everything I could to avoid confrontation. Going so far as to lying about anything, and telling all sorts of crazy made up stuff just to avoid getting into trouble, just to avoid confrontation, just to avoid any kind of deeper conversation about my mistakes or what I did, because each time something a difficult topic appeared, I always had this feeling that I did something wrong, and that I'm always at fault. That's another story. So it really did cost me a lot, but I was feeling really, really down at the time. It was during the 2 months that I felt really fucked up. 1 month angry, another month sad, and it happened somewhere in between. I couldn't stand myself, I couldn't take it anymore, and I decided to do something about it. I didn't talk to my therapist about it. It was the period when she was out of office or sick, or we had a break from sessions, a 2-week or 3-week break from in between sessions. I don't remember actually, but yeah, and I was thinking that okay, when I finish my therapy, it's not like I will have a therapist to go to talk about this, to talk about in general stuff that I was going through, and it's not like I need to learn to make my own decisions and take responsibility for them. So I did the thing that I thought would benefit me, would help me somehow get through this really painful and difficult period. I did have a plan to talk about my parents and confront them with for what they did and how okay, it's not like I was thinking that I want to accuse them of something. I genuinely wanted to present my perspective on things and what my feelings are towards them, and what my feelings are towards how my childhood looked like, and what I know now that happened during childhood. But at the same time, I was so angry, I did want to punish them. I went there with a hidden agenda which I didn't even know of. I realized this later on, that I wanted to punish my parents. I wanted them to feel at least to some extent as bad as I feel right now, because I'm fucking miserable. And it's not fair that I'm miserable. Everyone else should be miserable because I am miserable. It's not fair that I'm feeling this way. And that was my general attitude, and that's something very difficult for me, even to admit that I have this general attitude towards life. That when I'm feeling down, I have this. And this is, again, something really, really problematic for me, to say the least, because I'm behaving like a fucking snowflake. If I'm down, I'm feeling down. I need to find someone responsible for how I'm feeling, or in the very least, I need to somehow explode with my emotions, with what I'm feeling. Find someone who pisses me off and just let them know that they're pissing me off, and blow some steam by making someone else at least slightly as miserable as I am. And yeah, that's... I have made a huge progress since realizing that I have this in me with the help of my therapist. But I did come to realizing that I do have this pattern of behavior, and I am actively trying to fix that. Um, I'm working on it. I'm During these periods, I'm not the easiest person to be around because I'm letting everybody know that I'm fucking miserable. And I have a tendency then to exaggerate how bad things are. I do get to doom scrolling, and yeah, that's when I'm at my lows. It's not. It's far from being at my lowest. But it's one of the worst periods in recent years. And yeah, I wanted to punish my parents. I wanted them to feel just a little bit as bad as I am feeling, and I got what I expected. Denial. I know that I did cause them a little bit of pain, and it did bring me a little bit of relief. And when I'm saying this right now, I do feel embarrassed for myself and for what it got me to talk to them. It's really fucking hard to admit something like that I wanted to punish them, and I really got better afterwards. Yeah, but then I went into another month of being sad. But that's, you already know that part. So I did want to 1 year ago. Okay, in the last Christmas, Christmas 2021. No, not 21. Yeah, 2021. Christmas 2021. I renewed contact with my parents, with my family. I really wanted to let go of things and just heal our relationships. I went back in, and later on, as things progressed, I came to the realization that they are not changing. I feel completely left out. Still, even when I got back, there were these things like my parents would say that, okay, we'll give you a call, we'll let you know, and then a few months of complete silence. I know they have their own life, but I think that I envied my sister, that she and her family has my parents' full attention instead of me. And I know this happened for a reason, because I disappeared from their life at some point, and they learned to continue without me, and their entire dynamic progressed and evolved with me not being there. So I completely understand their dynamic and how their relationships work, and I understand that it's not natural for them to reach out to me, because they didn't for a few years. we had no contact for 6 years. I didn't talk to my mom for 6 years, to the extent that they didn't know I had cancer for the second time. And I didn't tell them. I didn't feel like I need to tell them. But I was in a state. We'll get to that later on. I still haven't actually thought about that period when I was sick, and what actually was going on with me, how I was in denial, and how I went through diagnosis, chemo, and everything. So that's a completely different story for another time. But yeah, they didn't know. I didn't tell them. I didn't feel like they should know. You'd think, well, they're your parents and stuff, but I don't feel that way. I mean, okay, they're behaving in a way that I find extremely difficult to be around people like them. I find it difficult to be around people who don't show their empathy. Around people who say that, yeah, we'll keep in touch, and they never do. People who don't accept my point of view. I mean, not like people who don't, who are not willing to at least try to understand, or completely closed off, or neglectful of my perspective of a different person, and just because we share the same genes doesn't make me. I don't feel obliged to be in constant contact with people who I don't feel I am welcome to be around, or I don't feel good being around. We share genes, but I don't feel obliged to continue that relationship, that to be in that dynamic, to be in that in a relationship with people who are neglectful of me, of my perspective, who are not really interested in what I have to say or what I'm feeling. And it's not like I'm being a snowflake right now. I mean, I know when I'm being a snowflake, like I said before, and it's not the case. I expect different things from different people, and I would expect from my own parents to be at least a little bit engaged in my life. And they don't show any sign of even wanting to be around, to hear what I have to say, or to be supportive in any way. So if I feel so much pain being around them, I just choose not to be around them. And I've decided to just cut ties with my family, basically. And this is one of the stories about being lonely. This is just one of them. The complete being completely cut off, or cutting myself off from my own family. I only keep in touch with my cousin, who's just about to give birth to her first child, and I'm going to be an uncle for the second time. I think I already am, but well, I understand that she wouldn't exactly be in the place to let me know, but yeah, and that's the only person I keep contact with, and I'm really sad that I don't keep that I don't talk to my sister, because she's different than our parents, and I really miss her. I think I'm gonna call her sometime soon, but generally I don't know right now. But my parents, I'm completely cut out. This is one of the lonelinesses. I don't know. This is one of the aspects of my loneliness. Another aspect of my loneliness is the experience of being of having depression for basically all of my life. As it turns out, I always felt I was outside. I mean, I did have friends at school. I did have a friend when I was a kid. One friend who lived just next door. And I took it really, really hard when his parents decided they would move out, and somewhere I felt maybe even betrayed in a way. I always took when someone would leave, I always took it really hard. So that was my first experience of someone leaving me. Well, they didn't actually leave me. That was just a circumstance. That was something that just happened. It's not like my friend decided to cut ties with me. He just moved because his parents decided they would move, and that's it, right? But I was, I don't know. I was a few years old. I think no, it was some time. I think it was around 3rd or 4th grade, maybe. I don't know. Either way, doesn't matter. Either way, I was basically in my early teens, really early teens, and he moved out, and I felt betrayed, and really took it really hard. I had a few. I had always friends in school, so it's not like I was an outsider of sorts. But I did feel outside. I felt different. I to cope with this feeling of constantly being different, I had a really vivid imagination, and whatever I imagined, it's like I saw it actually happening, and I always imagined myself being someone else, someone different. And I think it's not like you want to be when you're a kid, you want to be a superhero or something, or you see a cartoon and you want to be someone different, a princess or a hero or anything. No, it's I would make up stories. I would make up stories just for myself in my own head, and live those stories over and over and over and over and over again, imagining when I went to bed every single night for a really long time, I would imagine that I'm falling asleep in a space shuttle or a probe in a really small confined place, because I had quite a small room, and that room I imagined was the only space that I have to live, and that I'm going to sleep. I'm tucking myself in to, to keep safe and not to just float away somewhere in deep space. And yeah, I relived that same story every single night. I had trouble sleeping alone. I would wake up in the middle of the night and just scream to my parents for someone to come and help me. And they actually did. They did come and help me. But later on, as I got older, and okay, I can't exactly tell you the time frame when this was happening, because everything just, everything's a blur, and it's like a huge pot of brewing memories, and I'm trying to fish out by topic and not by time frame at this point. But I guess it was happening before I was 10, or maybe, well, no later than when I was 11 or 12 years old. But yeah, I would yell to my parents and cry, asking them to come and help me. I was really afraid of the dark. Also, everything I saw on TV that scared me, I was scared later on. I was scared of this later on at night, and I couldn't just get free from that. So I would get help from my parents, usually from my dad. And to be honest, I don't remember my mom ever getting up and coming to me. Could be because she had a difficult job. My dad had a pretty regular job, so I guess he was more available, and that's why he came more often than my mom did. But then they stopped coming, so I started going to them, really scared, and they got pissed at me when I did. When they would wake up, they would send me back to my room and just leave them alone. But I would I would wait until they fell asleep again, and I would try again to crawl into their bed and sleep beside them, because I was really, really scared to sleep alone. And when I managed to crawl to not to wake them, I mean, I was so sneaky doing it. We tried everything to make as little noise as possible, just sneaking up, and the floor would squeak, so I knew exactly where to stand, not to make a sound. Crawling up to the bed and crawling onto the bed, and just slowly, inch by inch, moving up to the pillow and just lying between my dad and the wall, and falling asleep then. That was a really difficult thing, and then my parents decided that I would, I had my own room and my sister had her own room, but then they decided that I would sleep with my sister if I were, since I was so afraid of sleeping alone, and that did help. I stopped going to my parents, and then another problem arose. My sister is six years older than me, and she was really studying hard all her life, and she had to stay up late to study, and she had to have the light on, which kind of bugged me sometimes, and we would argue about that. And at some point I decided just to go back to sleeping in my room, and it stayed like that. Maybe that's something again that pushed me to feeling like a complete outsider, and to feel somehow neglected. Maybe I don't know. I'm just telling you a story of how it went down, but I don't really have any kind of conclusion to that story, or what it means to me at present. What I do know, that I always felt somehow on the side, somehow I felt inside that I'm on the outside of life, of my friends. I had them. We had lots of fun. I laughed a lot. We would hang out very often, but I felt different. And by the time I was 12, that was the first time that I feeling so bad with myself, not knowing who I really am, and having only one single role model in my life, which was my dad. When I was 12, I sat in his chair, took his bottle of alcohol, poured me a drink, took his cigarette. Well, I didn't actually smoke it, but I took it in my mouth and started watching South Park. And I felt so fucking grown up. I finally felt like I was someone. And that was the first time I reached for alcohol, for it to change my me experiencing my own emotions, to change my internal monologue, to change my my way of thinking, to make me feel better. So this was my first medication for depression, and that's when my adventure with alcohol started. So I mean, I know teenagers do lots of crazy things, especially back then. I mean, drugs, alcohol, cigarettes. That was at some point that was nothing unusual. Come to think of it, any age that I was, I had absolutely zero problems getting hands on alcohol when I wanted to. There were shops that would sell alcohol to minors, or you would just say that it's for my dad. He asked me to buy something for him. You would go to different shops just to make sure that you wouldn't get recognized, and to have always this way out when you wanted to buy alcohol. There were special places where you could buy cigarettes, and the lady I would just sell them to anyone, especially minors. I did start smoking at some point, early teens, but my mom found out, and I didn't smoke again until I was, I don't know, 19, 20 maybe, and I started smoking when I was 20. Hell of a way to start smoking, but never mind. I always had this this way of thinking about alcohol, that it made me feel okay. It made me feel good about myself. It boosted my feeling of outsideness, but it also cut me off from my inner experience of pain, of loneliness, and I could, just sit in my chair and go even deeper into my imaginary worlds, experiencing adventures there, and just not being an active character or any kind of character in my own life. I had absolutely no idea who I was, who I wanted to be, which you would expect from a 12-year-old. But as I got older, I still didn't know. I still had problems realizing who I was and what I wanted to do, and that was expected from me. But I had no clue. So this is another story of my loneliness, another side of the story of my loneliness. When I first reached out to alcohol to feel different, to feel better, to change the way I was feeling. And ever since I can remember, I always felt alone. I mean, always. I know that right now, right? But I didn't realize it until I, kind of deep into therapy, actually, which I started 2.5 years ago. My first experiences with addiction therapy 2.5 years ago, and I was somehow halfway through when I realized that I always felt alone. No matter what was what was happening, where I was, with whom I was, with who I was. I always had this inner feeling of being on the outside. And provided that I always kept drinking, I never really got a chance to get to know myself. I went with life as it flowed. I was kind of an NPC, dragged along the plot, which was kind of beside me. And don't know about you, but to me, that's as lonesome. Okay, it can get even worse, but it's really, really lonely to live like that. And I think I can just trail off here and leave you with the best wishes of having a good life. And I hope to talk to you soon again. Cheers. Bye.